Hey guys, so today I wanted to share with you a fun Procreate lettering tutorial. I recently got the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil, and I've already learned a ton and I have so much fun. This is where I spend a ton of my time. So I wanted to show you one of the things I learned. So we're just gonna go ahead and just open up a new canvas, and you can use whatever size you want. I'm just gonna go with the standard square, so 2048 by 2048 pixels. So that's gonna open it up. Now, the biggest thing with Procreate lettering, doodling on the iPad is gonna be learning to use your layers. So I was just double check that I'm on a new layer and not drawing directly on the background. So from here you can change your background color if you want. I think I might change mine, to a pink color maybe. Ooh. A very, like that. So that is my background color. So now on layer one is where we're gonna do our lettering. So we're gonna do interlaced lettering. So where you have two different words and you have one on top, but it loops back through like behind certain letters. So we need to pick a color for our larger print font. So we're gonna start with a print font, and I'm going to use a bright yellow, like that, maybe. And for this, I think I'm gonna go with just a, let's see, maybe we'll just go with this one. We'll see how that starts. So this is just a brush that I downloaded. I don't know what pack this is from. I do have a couple that came off of Creative Market that I've purchased. So from here I'm going to change the size. I do want this one a little bigger. I'm not really sure how much, you just kind of have to play around with it. So I'm going to write my big print word. So the first word we're gonna write is gonna be happy, and then we can do birthday intertwined between that. So I'm just gonna write this in print font. So we'll go H, A, and try to leave a little bit of room between. You don't want them right next to each other here. And you can use whatever brush you want for this. You don't have to use a brush pen. That's gonna be too close. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect. If you are doing this for like a project, you might want to go through and add in some guidelines first on a separate layer so that you can follow them, so that your words are exactly consistent, but you don't have to. I'm gonna add in some little serifs here. Again, this is just a preference that takes a little bit of extra time and adds a little bit more, but you don't have to do it. This is not mandatory for what we're doing. And then what I love about this, so that's not directly centered. So the happy is on its very own layer. So if we go to the move, which is this little cursor, we can move just this word anywhere we want. So we can kind of center it a little better. So from here, when we move to our second word, which is going to be birthday, we need to create a new layer. So you go up to your layers panel, these two little squares, you're going to hit the plus sign, and now you're on a new layer. See how it's highlighted in blue? You're on a new layer. And then we want to choose a different color than the background and the lettering that we used before. So I think I'm just gonna start with black, and I might just keep this brush, but go a little smaller. And how I like to do this is I don't like to write my word directly on top of it first. I like to write it below it, and because it's on a separate layer, then I can move it up and over the word. So from here, I'm gonna write birthday, and I'm gonna try to keep it the same size as happy, so it'll be the same length. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so now that we have birthday written, we can move it up and see where it's gonna fit on here. So we just kind of want to play around with it. You might shrink it a little, so by pulling on these bottom arrows, and if you're going to just resize it, you might want to click this magnetics thing. That kind of keeps it the same size, so that if you pull it kind of sideways, it doesn't elongate the letters, it keeps them the same proportion. So you could make it bigger or smaller. I'm just gonna leave mine right where it was. I did kind of like it. Doesn't always happen that way. I am a little crooked here, so I'm gonna try to rotate it just a little, like that maybe. And we'll start there. Okay. So currently we have the word happy, and then we have the word birthday, and birthday is just sitting on top. So now we want to make it look like certain pieces of this script font are behind pieces of the print font. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here. You're going to click on your happy layer until this little menu pops up to the left. Then you're going to click select. So then you have all these little diagonal lines. So what happens here is you can only now go over happy, like it's the only thing that will be affected. So now go back to birthday. Now you're on the birthday layer, but the happy layer is still selected. Now go to your eraser. You want it to be fairly small, and you can zoom in here. So now we're just gonna act like certain parts of this is wrapping behind the happy. So we started here, and maybe this part goes behind here. So see how if I erase, like it's only gonna erase over where the word happy is. So I erase. Now it looks like this tail is going back behind the H, so then it wraps back around and goes over, and then it continues to go over and around, and let's see. Okay, so our I comes down, and then it can cross under here. You can do away with all of this if you want. This is just, and it is a preference, you just kind of got to play around with it. So now the R is behind the A, and maybe our T, the tail of it gets cut off there, and this piece goes behind, and maybe this piece of your H goes behind. And okay, so here where we have multiple things, so this goes down and then comes back. So maybe we just want this, oops. So now I gotta make my eraser smaller. We just want this last tail end piece to be behind. So I'm just gonna erase very carefully like that. So then that tail is going back behind. So then we come here, I can bump this size up a little bit. So our D starts here. I like to trace over my letters. It kind of helps me decide like what's gonna go in front and what's gonna go behind. So I'm gonna make this piece go behind, but then this comes around and goes over, and this little piece right here can go under there, and then we can do and get rid of this part of the Y, and then get rid of this part of the Y. So when you do that, what pretty much happened was that we just took and selected the word happy, so we can only erase there. So I can take my eraser, I can bump up the size here, and I can try, well, let's not do that. I move the size down, but I can go over this D and nothing's gonna happen to it because it's not overlapping this happy layer. So now when we deselect all this, we're left with this interlaced lettering where we have pieces of it going behind and pieces in front. And then I just wanted to keep this one fairly simple. I'd like to go into greater detail of how you could further make this more interesting or add more layers to it. But I did want to show you one thing because I struggled with it for a while. Let's say you decide that you don't want birthday to be black. So you're gonna select the layer. So you're gonna make sure that birthday, and then find the menu, hit select, go over to your colors and whichever one you want to use. We'll just do, let's see, like a blue like that. Then go back to your layers. So now your color that you want is up here, and you're gonna hit fill layer. And that will change the color of that word. So that's pretty much all there is to interlaced lettering. It's just 2 layers and then selecting the layer underneath and erasing pieces of the calligraphy or script layer. So enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I am planning on doing more Procreate and lettering and doodling tutorials on the iPad. So if you'd like to see that, please subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.